Carolyn Coil, and I'm an author with Pieces of Learning. Have you ever wished that you could go to Australia? Or have you ever heard your students say, "Oh, that's someplace I would just love to visit"? Well, you know, I hear that over and over and over again. And I've been very fortunate because I've actually been to Australia about 55 times. This book, I Own Australia, tells a little bit about my various journeys in Australia. In it, you would have a journal of my activities and things that I saw. There are lists of observations of really different things that you wouldn't think about. Everything from when you cross the street, you have to look in the opposite direction that you'd usually think of from an American point of view, to if you arrive in May, it's the beginning of autumn, not the beginning of spring. All kinds of very interesting activities, from Australian animals to something called Anzac Day that's celebrated each year on April 25th, to many, many things that most people don't know about Australia. You will find them all in this primary source. You know, the Common Core standards are going to require students to do a lot of reading of informational texts. Primary sources are going to be a very important part of that. This is a primary source that I think is of great interest to students at almost any age. For younger students, teachers tell me they love to read portions of the journal. For older students, the teachers tell me that the students read it themselves. It's a great stepping off point for all kinds of reporting, all kinds of research skills, and a lot of higher level thinking and higher level questioning. And that brings us to the second resource, the companion resource, something called Australia Questivities. Now, Questivities is kind of an interesting word. It's a combination of the word questioning and the word activities. The idea in doing any of the Questivities that are published by Pieces of Learning is that you start off with a series of higher level thinking questions. These might be questions such as list, compare and contrast, would you rather, what would happen if, those kinds of questions. The students answer those first before they start the project activity. Sometimes the answers can come just from a series of brainstorming questions, but other times these are research questions, and this is where they might have to go back to the book, back to the Eye on Australia, to see if they can research some of the answers to the Questivities questions. In the end, all Questivities have a project that would be the final result of going through the questioning activities. So if your students are interested in Australia, or if Australia is one of the topics that you are required to teach in social studies, how about making it an interesting, fascinating journey for your students? I can promise you that the combination of Eye on Australia along with the Questivities would be a wonderful, wonderful packet to make your kids excited and really in-depth learners on the continent that we call the continent down under, Australia. Thank you.